What is up, everybody? Daniel here, and the goal of today is to talk to you about some common beginner motorcycle mistakes. And these are some things that I have found by taking a few classes here and there, you know, some beginner classes, advanced classes, total control, and then teaching my girlfriend how to ride. And these are some things that I've actually seen that is easily fixable, but we gotta recognize that we're doing these things. So let's go ahead and jump into some of these common beginner motorcycle rider mistakes. So the whole goal of making these videos is to make you a more confident rider, and if you're more confident, you are a safer rider. The first mistake that I see a lot of people make, and then this is something that my girlfriend was making, is she wasn't countersteering hard enough. Now, she understood the concept of countersteering, but you're not countersteering hard enough, or you just completely forget that you're supposed to countersteer. So what countersteering is, let me get past this light, but basically what countersteering is pushing left to turn left, pushing right to turn right. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into a little bit of a straight line right here, and I'm gonna show you real briefly on what countersteering is, just so you can kind of get an idea of it. All right, let's get some speed. So push left to go left, push right to go right. So I'm pushing the handlebars to go left, pushing the handlebars to go right. Now, in order to correct yourself in a turn, you're obviously gonna have to push yourself left if you're going to a left turn, but then to go straight, you gotta recorrect yourself to go that way. So that is what countersteering is, and I see a lot of people making these really nice long turns on the road by going a little bit too far, then having to correct themselves. A little bit too far, having to correct themselves, and what they're actually doing is they're moving the handlebars like this. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to push and push. So push right to go right, push left to go left. It's as simple as that. Why am I in sixth gear? What the heck? Anyways, speaking of gear, but not this gear, but this gear, all this stuff is, some people don't want to buy it. A lot of beginners don't want to buy it, and I understand it's because you just got a brand new bike. You want to just go out and do all those things and just have fun, ride around, do some crazy crap. Or on top of it, you spent all your money on the bike thinking that's what you need to do, and then all of a sudden you found out the insurance is this, the registration costs this, and you're like, crap, I can't get a helmet, I can't get gloves, you know, I'll just, you know, gloves are gloves, I'll wear some work gloves. No, guys, it's not the same. You need to get proper gear, you need to get a good helmet. I talked about helmets a while back, but you gotta get a good SNEL rated helmet or ECE rated helmet, or even DOT at absolute minimum type of helmet. Get yourself a helmet. I'm gonna go down this, I like this road a little bit better. Get yourself a helmet, get yourself a jacket, get yourself boots, get yourself pants, motorcycle specific gloves, motorcycle specific everything, guys. You need to, stuff that will have ankle protection, stuff that will have padding, armor inserts into the knees on the jeans or the pants. You got some Kevlar or some abrasion resistance. Same thing with everything else. You need to have all this stuff, because if you don't and you crash, well, guess what? Your nice bike that you have is gonna probably be sold off during your estate sale when you die because you didn't have a helmet. Oh, this thing's all crooked. Sorry, I don't want to sound all morbid and everything, but guys, you really do need to get, some of my blinkers, you guys really need to get gear, budget for it. So budget like $1,000 extra, okay? Just save up. Like, it's like, oh man, I saved up so much for this bike. I got it. Let's say it's a $5,000 bike. I got $5 grand. Bam, I don't even have to like get a loan or anything. I got this bike, awesome. Well, now save up to $6,000. Save up to $6,000. Postpone your purchase. Save up to $6,000 or whatever, and then buy gear with the bike, and you're set. Plus, gear lasts forever, almost. Helmet's 5 years. I talked about that. It almost lasts forever, but still, it's really good investment. Another thing is failure to know fuel range. Now, luckily, Nikki's bike, this is the 2018 Honda Rebel 500. It has a fuel gauge, so I'm actually halfway to empty. But on my Sportster, I don't have that. I have nothing. I have a trip meter, which is great. But I don't know when it's gonna go, you know, to the reserve. I don't know how much I have left. So that's something you have to start developing while you're riding. Now, this fuel gauge right here, it makes it super easy just to follow that. I honestly don't know how much miles I can get on a tank of gas on this bike, but on my bike, I know specifically, you know, 80, I start hitting that, the check fuel light. I know I can get about 110, 120, maybe even 130, depending on how I'm riding, before I run absolutely out. So that is something you're going to check. You're going to want to kind of figure out how much fuel you actually can. Let's go down to fourth gear. How much fuel you can actually go on a tank, and the best way to do that is every time you top off your bike, you set your trip meter. Now this one has a button right here, so set my trip meter. I set this 60.5 miles ago when I first filled up. So half a tank, 60.5 miles. I'm guessing about 100, 110, maybe even 120 if I'm lucky. So that is one way to test it. And so when you know you're getting closer and closer and closer to your limit, you know, okay, I got to fill up pretty soon. I don't want to be stranded out in town, or I don't want to be stranded out on a motorcycle ride with a bunch of people. Another mistake that I see is that, man, you got this badass bike, you want to impress some ladies, you want to impress some people, you want to be like, hey, come on, let's go for a ride. Well, first of all, you need to get your gear. Second of all, they need to have gear too. They need to have a helmet. You are absolutely responsible for that rider if they are on your bike. Now, it's a lot harder to keep someone on the bike, a lot harder to keep a passenger on the bike safe than it is in a car. In a car, it's got a built-in seatbelt, airbags if you got a newer car, but it's got a cage around it. Here, it takes some skill as a passenger. You need to understand the rules. You need to understand, you know, how to sit still, and that's another whole new topic on passenger riding skills. But a lot of people like to rush to do that. Now, first of all, you are a brand new rider, because we're talking about common beginner motorcycle rider mistakes. So you are a beginner. So you need to understand that if you take a passenger on your bike, once again, you are responsible for them. But then now everything is slowed down. Your acceleration has slowed down, your braking has slowed down, your turning has slowed down, because you have that extra weight and all that stuff, and it just causes some more issues that you really should not be worrying about when you first start riding. So don't do that. Get to the point where you feel completely 100% confident in your riding, and then take somebody else on it. And even then, it takes practice to have better throttle control, nice and smooth throttle control, so you aren't banging each other's helmets back and forth. Same thing with the turning. It's this whole other idea. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Another thing that happens is people stall. Stalling, it happens. It really does. I'm gonna find a spot where I can just pull over, which is like, it's right here actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull over, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what happens, what you should do if you stall, what it really does. Now, basically what happens is when you stall is when you let out the clutch too quick, and there's not enough power to the rear wheel. I'm gonna go ahead and turn all the way around. I'm gonna leave this guy alone. Let's go ahead. He's the pest control. I think he's taking a break. All right, let's go to this next one. So basically what happens is if you let the clutch out too quick, and you don't have your engine RPMs running to meet it, basically. You need to learn the friction control, friction zone, a little bit of friction control. I talk about that in another video. I'll go ahead and link that, because that's very important to know when it comes to not stalling. So what happens when you stall? Let's say I'm at the stoplight, or not stoplight, stop sign. Okay, we're at the stop sign. It's like, okay, there's cars behind me, whatever, or not. And I'm like, man, I want to get going. Okay, so I got these cars come here. I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna put it in first gear, and I'm about to go. And I'm like, oh crap! And I'm like, oh no. So what happened there was that I let the clutch out way too quick. I let the clutch out way too quick instead of finding that friction zone to where the engine has power to the rear wheel. So it's all mechanic crap. At the end of the day, you should understand you need to friction zone and then give it a little bit of gas, and you won't stall. Okay? If you stall because you accidentally let it out too quick, or you didn't give it enough throttle, it just does that. Now you're locked because you're in first gear, so you're not gonna be able to move like you're neutral, and you're starting to freak out. The bike's still on. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? If this happens and you're at a light and it turned green, you're like, oh crap, and there's someone behind you or whatever, and they're getting pissed, just pull back in the clutch, start it up, try again. If you stall, you stall, you stall. It doesn't matter. Do not worry about stalling. It's not a big deal. I do it sometimes. Instructors do it sometimes. A lot of people do it all the time. I used to do it in my truck all the time when I was driving stick. Guys, do not worry about it. Just practice the friction zone. See, I'm just, like I said, that video I talked about the friction zone and how to practice that. So you might want to check that out. Let's stall again. I'm gonna wait for this car to go. Oh, and that's what happens. It jerks you. It jerks you. It's scary. It's not a big deal. I'm going to turn off the bike. So guys, that is what happens when you stall. Not a big deal. And I have this big DDFM manual. It's a training manual that I have on my Patreon. It'll have a bunch of different exercises. So far, I think I have 7+, 8+ exercises on there. A lot of exercises. And what it does is I show you how to slalom, I show you how to do a U-turn, I show you how to basically pass your test if you're getting ready for it in a very easy manner, and I have diagrams on how to do it, how to set it up yourself so you can train yourself. But guys, you need to practice. You need to practice and check it out if you want to do it. Anyways, guys, hope you guys ride safe, be safe, and I'll see you later, all right?